A super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1974. It's Holiday Heritage Day. Today is all about, we're celebrating Boxing Day, Kwanzaa, the first night of Kwanzaa, and the second night of Hanukkah. So to those celebrating, and I'm not sure what other celebrations are going on, but whatever you're celebrating, I know there's friends of mine that are having birthdays today. So whatever you are celebrating, may it be super fantastic and sparkling. And I apologize for being on almost an hour late. We had a mini crisis where Zephy almost went into a seizure, but we managed to avoid it. We have been practicing our seizure avoidance techniques. When I see her starting to do the slow walk, then I make her lay down on the floor. I've got a mat or padded mat down there for her. I've got cushions behind it for me to lay on, and we just lay there very quietly, and I just stroke down her side, and that just keep her very calm. And we're laying in front of the TV, so the TV's on with whatever's going on at the time, and we just lay there very quietly. And then she eventually starts coming around and wants a little bit to eat, so we have little treats there for her, along with regular dog food as well. She thinks they're treats at this time. She just wants something to eat. And so now I've made her lay on the floor behind me, and I've told her that she has to stay in the room so I can keep an eye on her, because we're still in that stage where we might slip back and have a seizure, but we're hoping and praying that we don't. So I apologize for me. And it takes usually once she starts getting into that mode of, and she starts pacing, she starts walking around in circles, and then she'll just stand there in place and just stare and won't move a muscle. She might start tipping forward, she might start tipping to the side, and that's kind of the indication that, we need to get her down on her side and get her calm very quickly. She doesn't like it when I pick her up and I lay her down on the floor. She does on her mat and everything. She just doesn't like it. And but we did go for it. We did get in 2 walks today. This morning she got up. We had no issues with seizures this morning, absolutely 0, which we've had the last 2 mornings, but we've been able to ward them off. And doing a little practice of laying down and snuggling and just being very calm. And we watched Santa and Pete yesterday while we were doing our morning snuggle to ward off any seizures and everything else. And after that movie finished, she was up and walking around like nothing had happened. She's kind of getting to that stage. She's almost there. She has been up and walking around, but she's not fully 100% yet. And we take her back to the vet tomorrow to do a follow-up from her vet visit last week. So fingers crossed that things are improving. And we went for a walk this morning. We went for a walk this evening. And it was after the walk this evening that we started having issues, because we went 3 houses more than what we have been doing the last few days. And I think that just kind of put her over the top a little bit. And I'm not sure when she ate before we went for the walk, so I don't know what her blood sugar levels were like. But anyway, she's resting comfortably behind me on her mat. She's just had a treat. So her system's just processing. And by the time I finish this, she'll be up and running around. So that's been our update for today. It's been a great day today. And I got to do lots of fun stuff today. I got to do training. Got my Ancestry subscription all sorted out. And I will tell you this. The person I spoke to on the help desk at Ancestry, because I had an old card on there that had expired. And so I went in on Christmas Eve, on the morning of Christmas Eve, and changed it to the new card. And for whatever reason, it didn't process. And they said it takes 24 hours to process. So I was thinking, okay, it's on an automatic thing. And so I'll give it 48 hours, nothing. So I called them up, and I actually called them up because their chat thing just drove me crazy. Their Autobot on the chat thing just drove me crazy. Because I'd tell them exactly what I wanted and go, just to confirm that you want da-da-da-da-da. And I go, yes, that is exactly what I need. And then I come back, okay, so we're just confirming. And I'm like, how many times are you going to confirm this? But anyway, we got through to this guy, and he was extremely helpful. And my annual fee for this year, I got to save 30% off that, because I actually have a 30% gift membership sale on right now. And so I was able to gift myself a membership, which saved me like $60, I think it was. So it saved me like about somewhere around $60. And so I got that, and I made sure I like doubled and triple checked with him that nothing on my account would change. I says, I cannot afford to lose anything that's on my account. All my trees still need to be there and everything else. And he said, like, yeah, nothing's going to change. And he says it just won't auto-renew next year. So you have to be very cautious of that one. So I've got it in my calendar that it's not going to auto-renew, the date it's going to renew, so that I can it will actually be a year ago. It'll be in a year's time from today. And then I turned around and asked him about the Pro Tools. Now, the Pro Tools is something that it costs you $10 a month to get these extra tools in Ancestry that help you do different things, like finding errors in your tree, finding duplicate people, and there's extension on the DNA matching that you can do, enhanced DNA matching or something. I haven't figured that one out yet. And so I'm like, do you guys have like an annual membership? It's $10 a month. I said, do you have an annual membership for that? I said, I don't want to be paying this every month. He says, look, I'll tell you what, since you haven't used it yet and you've been with us for so long, I've been with Ancestry since they started. That was over 25 years ago in 1999. And if you have a look at my Facebook page from the other day, it says that I've been a member since 1899. Instead of 1999. So I'm looking pretty damn good for my age, considering the fact that I started researching genealogy at least 15 years prior to Ancestry going online. So I'm looking, and and they say I've been with them for 125 years plus the 15. I'm looking damn good for my age. That's all I can say. So anyway, he said, well, we actually have a semi-annual one where you pay twice every 6 months. And he told me, and he says, I will give you 50% off that for the first 6 months. I was like, yes. So I got it with the taxes included. It was $24, which means that when I go to pay in 6 months' time in June of next year, it's going to be just under $50 for the next 6 months. So I was like, yes. I said, hoping they'll have an annual one out by then. So I'm stoked. And I was playing with it before I got on the help chat this afternoon, and it was a lot of fun. It came out with 272. It actually broke it down into, this is how many duplicates you have. This is, I can't remember what the other two columns are, but the last column was other errors. And so I've been working on those other errors, and I started off with 272 of those, I think it was. And I'm now down to, I am so way off track. Okay, so it had possible duplicates was 717. I'm down to 708. Then they had no documentation, can't remember what that number was. Only tree documentation, can't remember what that was. And other possible errors were sitting at 227, I think. And I'm now down to 183. So I've been knocking out a few of those. And a lot of them is, there's a lot of people I have in my tree that are not attached, that are floaters. It's a single person just floating around in the ether of my tree and not attached to anybody. And so first thing I do is go to see, do I have a duplicate for that person? Do I have someone who's actually plugged into a tree, and this is just somehow a duplicate person that's just floating around that actually belongs over here? So I found some of those cases that was the case, but it's picked up errors like this child was born 10 years after the father died. And I'm like, well, that can't be right. And I go in, and sure enough, that's what it's showing. So then having to take a note of that so I can go back and research that in depth later to find out, why does it say that this person was born 10 years after the father died? And on one of them, I'm thinking it looks like there may have been a name change in there. So that the husband passed away and the wife got remarried. And this was actually a child from the second marriage, not from the first marriage. That's what I've got to go and verify before I can make any changes to it. And then, yeah, so there was a few of those where, the father was less than 11 years old. Well, the one I couldn't understand, it said that the birth information was over 10 years. I'm like, over 10 years of what? And the death information was over 10 years. And I'm like, well, this person lived till they were 92. And I couldn't understand what they meant. And so I was just like, well, I only have one death date in there. I only have one birth date in there. There's no others in there. Yes, I have multiple sources supporting those things. So I'm just going to X that for now, which means it's there, but it's hidden. And I can go back to that person at any time and click on the button, and it will pop it all back up again. So it was kind of fun going through the tree and doing that, and not actually doing any research like I normally do, but to be able to go into my tree of 9,000 and something people, and it pulled up, that out of that 9,000 and something people, I've got 770 possible duplicates. And I only had 227, I think it was, errors. So I thought, well, for having that many people in my tree, that's not bad. So Because I'm very, very particular, but I'm kind of curious as to how these single people just ends up just floating around in the ether. And one person that's name was question mark in the first name field, question mark in the last name field, and no other information. It was just, that was their name, question mark for the, just a question mark for the first name, question mark for the last name, no other information. I'm so like, well, you're not attached to any tree. You're not even attached to a family tree. You're not even attached to an online tree. Well, I don't know who you are, but we'll just delete you out of there because you're not attached to anybody. You're just floating around in the ether. So they were gone. I had a couple of those. And I was like, that's really weird. But anyway, so what are we talking about tonight? All right, let's get back on track here. Need some lubrication. Okay, so tonight, today, the 26th of December was Boxing Day. We'll explain that one to you. The second night of Hanukkah, and it is also the first day of Kwanzaa. So let's start with Boxing Day and move forward with that. So Boxing Day had the early origins back in the Middle Ages. It's a tradition associated with the practice of giving to those in need. The name likely comes from the custom of churches opening their alms boxes, which contain donations collected during the Advent season and distributed the contents to the poor on the day after Christmas. In Victorian England, Boxing Day became a time for wealthy to give gifts or Christmas boxes to their household staff and service workers. It was a day off for servants to spend time with their families, often taking leftover food and small tokens of appreciation with them. Another one that I've heard of as well too is that I'm not sure which time period it is, but the Lord of the Land, the person who, because in England you had the lords who would oversee their property and they'd have tenants living on the property, that they would box up leftover foods on those days and go and deliver it to the tenants in their under their care. It's also a public holiday. Boxing Day became an official public holiday in the United Kingdom in 1871 and has since spread to other countries with British colonial histories, including Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Today, it is a day off for most people. It is a day off. Oh, excuse me. But Boxing Day is known more as shopping sales. You have your boxing, like here in the States, we have Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. In the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, we have Boxing Day sales the day after Christmas. And you can pick up I will tell you this, you can pick up some amazing Christmas decoration deals because they will slash, like, I've seen sales back when I was living in New Zealand, I would see sales of like 70% off Christmas decorations because they didn't want to pack and store them for another year. They wanted them gone. So if you're ever looking for, so on Boxing Day in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and the UK, if you ever need any really good Christmas decorations for the following year, just wait till Boxing Day. You'll go get some really cool stuff. And some people will get the stuff to go in the yards and that sort of thing. But it's more known these days for shopping sales, sporting events, spending time with family. In some countries, it retains its charitable roots with people donating to those in need or supporting community causes. So that's Boxing Day. I just like it being family day, spending time with family, just kicking back and relaxing and spending time with family. I haven't done much of a Boxing Day since, when was the last time I celebrated Boxing Day? That would have been 2018 when I was back in New Zealand for Christmas. It was the last time I was home for Christmas. So I'm looking forward to next year when I'll be home for Christmas and we'll be able to do Christmas Day, Boxing Day. And my oldest nephew has decided that, this was hilarious. So my brother sent me a picture of my oldest nephew, and it was his oldest nephew too. It's my youngest brother's oldest son. And my nephew is standing there holding these two lobsters. He's got his hands like this, and these lobsters are like about from the top to the bottom of their tails were like about this big. They were huge. They were massive. And he's just standing there. He works in a grocery department in the seafood section. And he's holding up these two lobsters. And in New Zealand, we also call them crayfish. So crayfish, lobsters, interchangeable. And he was telling us that the store was selling them at $125 per kilo. Now, a kilo, I'm going to remember this. A kilo is 2.2 pounds. So 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds. So for every 2.2 pounds that lobster weighed, it was 125 New Zealand dollars. And if you want that in US dollars, let's see. Yes, we've got that the right way around. I have a conversion thing up while I'm busy shopping in New Zealand at the moment. So $125 New Zealand per kilo works out to Why are you not converting? Come on. Convert. Click. I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure if it's my mouse on my computer or what. Hang on, let's try this. Okay, so you did that. 125.0. Convert. That's not letting me convert. Oh, hang on, there it goes. So 125 New Zealand dollars per kilo, doing the exchange rate and everything else, is $70.27 per 2.2 pounds of lobster. Yeah, and they had my mum's told me that my nephew said that they sold 4 of them. I'm so like, wow. So yeah, somebody had a very nice Christmas meal with 4 so 4 families had and actually I think they said one family bought 2. So there were some families that had some very nice lobster for Christmas Day. She went and got her biscuit that's been sitting out there for 3 days. So yeah, so that was kind of cool. But anyway, so we're back to Boxing Day and the second day of Hanukkah. And Hanukkah is the festival of light, the celebration of the light, the miracle of lights. For those that don't know the story, let's see if I can remember this. They needed to put, hang on. I remember the story. It's to do with a little bit of oil lasting 8 nights. That much I do know. Okay, so they had to relight the menorah, which is 7-branch candelabrum, and it's a symbol of God's presence. And they only had a little oil that they managed to make last for 8 days. Now, this little bit of oil that they had should not have lasted 8 days, but it did. And so Hanukkah has become the tradition of celebrating the 8 days of Hanukkah with how long this oil lasted. And they light 1 additional candle each evening. And they the traditional foods are things like foods fried in oil, like latkes. I love latkes. They're potato pancakes. There's jelly-filled donuts, and there's what else was there? I can't remember now. Should have written them down. And then you get to play the dreidel. Now, I have never played the dreidel game, but you get money or chocolate coins as part of. It's all part of the way that you play. It's something to do with playing the game, and I have not played the dreidel game. I really should learn how to play that game. Because it looks like so much fun. But I do know there was this little bit of oil that wasn't even enough for 8 nights, yet it lasted the 8 days. And that's what they celebrate. It's the celebration of light. Light. And then we have, so we also have Kwanzaa starting today. Kwanzaa is, let me see if I can remember this. Kwanzaa is a non-religious holiday that celebrates African-American culture, history, values, family, and community. They often have special foods that are made with recipes that have been passed down through generations. And this is and from the genealogist side, I love this because they're making food passed down from generations. Can you imagine the stories that can be told around those recipes that have been passed down through the generations? Like, how long has that one been there? How long is it not? They start it today and it ends on January 1st is the last night of it. And there's and they have like a menorah, but they've got 7 candles on there, and they light 1 per day, and each one means a different thing. Now, when I was researching this, I found the African names for everything. Now, I suck when it comes to pronouncing different languages, so I'm going to just stick with the English version of all of them. So tonight is unity, tomorrow is self-determination, then they've got collective work and responsibility. Night 4 is cooperative economics, night 5 is purpose, night 6 is creativity, and night 7 is I had to look at my fingers. Night 7 is faith. So and they invite people, they invite anybody from any culture to come in and celebrate with them. Because they say, we all celebrate other people's holidays as well, other cultures' holidays. So they, the African Americans just open it up to people to come in and come celebrate with us. So I'd like to do that one year, but I'm gonna arrange it for when I'm next back over here for Christmas. To actually go and do find a family that I can celebrate Kwanzaa with and learn more about it, learn more about their culture and why they celebrate and things like that. So, and something to do with harvest as well. That's a harvest celebration, that one. So those are the three things being celebrated today. I got a really dry mouth. Right now, I'm going to go and have some dinner because I haven't had dinner yet because I was dealing with Zeffie. She's obviously feeling better because she just destroyed her dog biscuit. So that's really good as well. And she's going to the vet tomorrow for her checkup. So we've got to be there at like 7 or 7:30 in the morning, which is going to be fine. We've been getting up pretty much as soon as the alarm goes off at 5 o'clock. We've been bouncing out of bed and getting our day started and avoiding seizures. So we've now got 4 days of no seizures. Yes. Yes, we're trying to get Zeffie ready so that her health is good enough that we're able to put her on a plane for 13 hours plus loading and unloading time as well to get her down to New Zealand. So we're getting close to the deadline of when we have to start the paperwork if we want to leave at the end of May, beginning of June. We've got February 1st is our deadline. February is our deadline. So we've got a month and a bit to get her in good health. So with that, we are out of here. Happy Boxing Day, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. May you all go out and have a super fantastic sparkling evening, celebrating whatever it is you are celebrating. Excuse me. And we look forward to being back here tomorrow evening with you I'm just checking my calendar to make sure. Yes, at 6 p.m. Pacific. Oh, actually, no. Tomorrow we are going to be late because I have to go pick Zeffie up. No, hang on. I should be back. I will be back by then. 6 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, 7 p.m. Yeah, so 6 p.m. Pacific. We'll be back. I've got to go pick her up at 7 p.m. my time is when I go live, Mountain Time. So we will be on at 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow night on time. Got warding off any possible seizure things too. So there might be a little delay in that because I know when picking her up and bringing her in the car home, it's about a 30-minute drive home from the vets. And sometimes the stress of the ride in the car can be enough to put her into pre-seizure mode. So, we're going to try and do it anyway tomorrow. And I might even have to be doing it from on the floor in the family room while I keep her calm. We may have to do it that way. I had to do a Zoom that way on Christmas Eve with my parents when it was Christmas Day back in New Zealand. I was sitting on the floor there next to Zeffie with my laptop set on my cooler in the family room so that we could talk to them rather than sitting here and having her lay out there. Yep, no. What are you? You're still eating your biscuit. Good girl. But with that, we're out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific.